Hey everyone, this is Cheryl Kuchek and Joe Piazza.
Hello, how's it
Yay!
going? I'm setting up my YouTube.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to make sure that we're live because
Oh,
you know how technology can be.
oh, there we are. We're live now.
Yay! Okay, so and I will go in and make sure that our group because we did this versus going to just putting in our group. But I'm so excited to have this with you because a lot of people love the Easy Subly, but there's still some questions that people have. So I think it's really important that we have this. Well, let me. Okay,
Absolutely. Are
yeah.
we starting? There.
Yep. I just want to make sure that I'm going to the group and okay. So did you post it?
I did post it. I hope it's shared.
Okay, let me.
It's interesting because it's live. Like, I don't know if it copies the whole thing. Like,
It should copy it and I'm posting everywhere. So
yeah.
just to make sure that everybody can see us. But it's exciting, that it's an exciting product. And how long did it take you guys working on that to actually bring that to fruition?
While we're talking Easy Subly itself, the heat
Yeah.
transfer vinyl, that took us. So to take it back a little, began was when we showed the sublimation on our white glitter heat transfer vinyl, and that opened up so many doors to sublimators. And for those that are watching that don't know who we are, I'm Joe with Caesar North America. We manufacture heat
Oh my
transfer
goodness,
vinyl and
yes.
easy PSV. So that's just quick. So we did. I showed a video and I did sublimation on our white glitter, which was then applied on 100% black cotton, which obviously for sublimators, you can never do. It kind of blew up. And of course, instead of everyone being like, yeah, that's awesome, it was a lot of people going, well, what about a product that doesn't glitter or doesn't have the shimmery glitter finish to it? So we went to our Italian manufacturer, that's where our products are made, and we talked with them extensively about what we needed, and it took almost, I want to say, 4 years until
Wow.
we were able to get something that was successful, where we were able to find a happy medium because a lot of people wanted to use our Easy Weed product, which everyone that uses Caesar knows that name. Um, and unfortunately, the Easy Weed product, and it being polyurethane based, was not able to withstand the sublimation process. So it was a little too thin. Every time we would ever try to do something and sublimate on it, it ended up just melting. So
Wow.
we still had to, yeah. So we had to find a substrate that was able to withstand the heat of the sublimation process, but also have a smooth, flat like finish and had a nice feel to it. So this was kind of where we ended up. And then so Easy Subly came out, and it's pretty awesome because in the beginning, our Caesar Italy branch, our marketing kind of was not parallel. So they
Yeah.
were already selling the Easy Subly over in Italy back in late 2018, and we got all the backlash over here in North America because we didn't have it yet. So last you had me on, Cheryl, was what? It was right after I think we launched the Easy Subly. So that had to
Yes.
have been back in May of this year. Um,
Yeah.
you
And
had
there
me on.
was a
It was brand new, and I'm here to redeem myself a little bit from that last one. So
okay.
yeah,
and
so
and and maybe redeem yourself. No, I'm kidding.
yeah,
Nothing to
no, that's
redeem.
what I mean. Well, because when we first launched it, we were still brand new to it. It's still a learning process for a lot of people. A lot of sublimators are still kind of confused as to what they need or what the benefit of it or what the sole purpose of Easy Subli is. Again, at Caesar, we are not sublimation professionals at all. Like, this is really brand new for us in the sublimation world.
Wow. Yeah.
Because we're heat transfer vinyl, we're decal vinyl. Now our heat transfer vinyl goes into the print world, but you're talking solvent, or latex printers. Sublimation was just a whole nother being for us. So when we rolled out with the Easy Subli product, we actually did team up with Sawgrass. I'm sure everyone's familiar with Sawgrass.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we teamed up with Sawgrass, we came out with their launch of these inks. So the inks I have here, which are the Caesar Easy Subli inks, the CMYK.
Right.
This came out at the same time as we launched the Easy Subli. Now these inks, Sawgrass formulated to work with our Easy Subli product. This was kind of where someone like yourself, Cheryl, who's a little bit more privy to the sublimation world and all your following that knows a lot about sublimation, they started questioning about, well, what about those inks on other substrates that aren't Easy Subli?
Right.
So that was kind of where I left off last time, and I felt really kind of dissatisfied that I didn't have the right answers for it. It was so brand new. We were only focused on the Easy Subli product. So
Uh-oh.
the product we're talking about here, this is a package of the 50 pack of Easy Subli heat transfer vinyl. And again, we did team up with Sawgrass. So for those that are watching that have other sublimation printers, that does not mean that you can't use the Easy Subli product. It just means that I may not have a particular profile for you. But theoretically, that's unfortunately the name of the game right now. We've had a lot of people.
Yeah, so they don't have a profile for that?
Oh, for the Sawgrass, we have a profile. But if you have, like, let's say an Epson, like one of their workflow series, or you know what I mean, other manufacturers, we don't have the profiles for all that. And I know there's other types of sublimation inks out there.
Right.
But theoretically, and again, the way this Easy Subli product is formulated, it is going to be compatible with a sublimation ink. So
right.
The rest
that's good. That's good. Okay, so talk to me about. Okay, you said 50 are in that box. Is that 50 sets where you're getting the masking with it?
Nope. So this is just one of the options of this Easy Subli. Like, you can get it in smaller packs. It would just depend on how your authorized Caesar distributor that sells the Easy Subli does carry it. But this is how we offer it to them. So it would come in a 50 pack of, right now, the only dimension of this sheet we have is 8.4 by 11. So the 8.4 by 11 is perfect for an SG 200 or an SG 800. And yes, you can print it directly on the product. So in this 800 I have right here, I already have the Easy Subli is loaded up in the printer. So when you get this Easy Subli, this is a sheet of it. So this is the 8.4 by 11. Now, it's kind of tough to see on this, but this is the dull side. This is the side you're printing on. And then you're going to have a shiny side. Load it up into your printer. You're going to load it up with the shiny side facing up. So this is how it's going to go into the printer. And again, it fits perfectly in the SG 400 or the SG 800. Just make sure that your dimension size fits that, and then now you're good to go. So that would be how you would load the printer up with the Easy Subli. Now, we do
Okay,
also
well, let me
have,
ask a question here.
sure,
So, but both sets of ink will work with it for.
going right into it, Cheryl. I see what you're saying. Going right into this is where
I
we wrap
just
up.
wanna, I represent a lot of people who have,
Understandably. And
yeah,
actually,
the Sawgrass, and they got the regular, Sublejet inks, and so this is a question that comes up a lot.
I'm so much more confident than the last time that we talked because it's unbelievable, like the questions that we were getting because we didn't really know, and we were obviously really promoting to make sure that people were using Easy Subli inks.
Right.
Now, full disclosure, this Sawgrass right here is loaded with the Subli Jet inks in it. So
Okay.
I have Subli Jet inks in this one. These are the Easy Subli inks. So two different ink sets. And yes,
Okay.
questioning, you cannot switch the different inks. Once you have one loaded,
Yes.
you have to keep that system with those inks. So I have Subli Jet inks in this one. That means if this runs out, I got to keep the system using Subli Jet inks. That is what I would recommend. I would not recommend flushing it or doing anything like that to switch out ink types. The suggestion is if you do plan on using Easy Subli a lot and you plan on getting a new machine. Now, when you get a package deal of these Sawgrass, if you wanted an SG400, SG800 fresh out of the box, that's when you could say, I want it to come with the Easy Subli inks. That's what I
Right.
would
Right.
recommend. If you are already using a Sawgrass printer with Subli Jet inks, this is the answer. You can use Easy Subli. There we are. Right? How do you feel about that, Cheryl?
Well,
Yes.
I love the drum roll.
I had to, right? Everyone's
You
like,
did
I
good.
have a Subli Jet, so I can't use it. Live. So this is where I'm here to show you some samples. It'll be tough to show you in the screen, but this has been the ongoing question and the back and forth we've been having with customers. If you do have a SubliJet system and you have the inks already set up with that and you want to use Easy Subli HTV, you can absolutely use it. Do not be afraid. The only thing I recommend, and that what we all recommend, and Sawgrass is going to recommend, is to make sure you're using the Virtuoso Print Manager. That
Okay.
is the most important step because the print manager is what is going to basically communicate from your computer to your machine to whatever material you're printing on. So Sawgrass has done quite a few different updates since we've come. So now their recent update has been actually really friendly for those that have SubliJet. So if you've already
That's good.
used and gotten their update, it's pretty cool because if you have this SubliJet already selected, there is a drop down in the substrate that will give you a wide selection of different things that you can print on, different substrates. And one of them that they just added to the SubliJet section is heat transfer vinyl. So if you
Love
just
it.
click heat transfer vinyl, that is going to tell your printer that has SubliJet in it that you're now printing heat transfer vinyl such as Easy Subli. So that is going to be the remedy, and that is our main suggestion that if you're using SubliJet, that's what you're going to go and do. Now, the other side of it is if you do have your setup with the Easy Subli inks in it, you are going to want to make sure that you have the Caesar edition for your VPM, your Virtuoso Print Manager.
Well, what does that mean now? Tell us what that means.
So once you get a printer like this, you're going to go through the prompts of downloading the Virtuoso Print Manager. So if you already have the Virtuoso Print Manager, it's that green V, that box.
Right. Right.
That is where if you want to get the Caesar edition, what you're going to do, I wish it was easier to show up like a screen of prompts. In Sawgrass used to have a website I could send you to, but now it's a 404. I can't really tell you, but it's really easy. And all it is if you already have the Virtuoso Print Manager, click on that green V, and there's going to be a pop-up that shows up, and there's a section that says edition, or I'm sorry, what is it going to say? Let me double check on this. It's click on that, and it's going to say options. You're going to go up to options, then you're going to go edition, and then it's going to say enable new edition. And there, when that screen pops up after you click enable new edition, all you're going to type in is Caesar, Siser, hit enter, and now you have the Caesar edition added to your VPN. This is for
and
people
that's
that
only for the Easy Subli
inks.
Okay, right. Okay, cool. Very
So,
cool.
right. So when you go to that Caesar edition, if you have the Easy Subli inks, you're going to see that it's already going to recognize and say Caesar Easy Subli inks up at the top. Then it's going to say Easy Subli heat transfer vinyl as your substrate. Even though there it's actually labeled Easy Subli heat transfer vinyl. Like I said, Sawgrass made those adjustments on the SubliJet edition. Well, I should say the other edition, the Sawgrass edition, where it says SubliJet. Now it's just a drop down that says heat transfer vinyl. I hope that's not super confusing for everyone.
No, I think that was really good. Okay, so Lone Star says, how long after printing before it has to be pressed?
Okay, that's a good question too. Now, this is going to solely be based, in my opinion, on the ink saturation, like the ink combination you're using. So one that's very popular around this time is the printed pattern of, like, let's say buffalo plaid. So buffalo plaid being red and black are some of the richest colors that you can feasibly print.
Right.
So sometimes that's going to be a lot harder for it to be to avoid having heavy saturation. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
One suggestion, basically shock it, or what it's going to do is like cure it for a little bit. And all we recommend doing is, while you have your heat press turned on, keep the heat press turned on. And if you have an autoclam, or if you have a clamp or a swing away, you're just going to keep the heating element over it. So if you have a clamshell,
just hovering over the vinyl.
Yeah, like a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. What that's going to do is it's going to help it cure it, which is going to make it a little bit easier for it to cut, and or go to the next step where you asked earlier about the mask. So now, Easy Subli, you have a few different things. First, I want to just show you the difference about the importance of going through a Virtuoso Print Manager. I did this in a class. So I did two images. So here, you see it. It's my boy Elvis. So I printed that out. This is on Easy Subli. Yes, this is 100% black cotton. This was Easy Subli heat transfer vinyl that I printed on. Now, this was printed directly to the printer without going through the VPN. I showed this. The colors are a little bit dark.
And is this Easy Subli? Or
yeah.
Okay,
no,
this is Easy
Easy Subli. So this is the heat
No, I mean the inks though.
Oh, the inks, yeah. So this is the Easy Subli inks on here.
Okay.
And I'm just showing you the purpose of going on a
on the VPN.
As well as an option where this is something you wouldn't need a mask for, because this is one solid piece that I was able to just lay this onto the garment and heat apply it. I didn't need a mask. But this is to show you not going through the VPN. You can see the colors. Now, here is the same image.
Jeez Louise.
You see the difference? Now, that's what I'm saying. So this was not going through the VPN. This was going through the VPN. Wow. And now here's where I actually at your class or at your event in the Sublimation Summit, I was teaching a class and I showed this exact example, and it was kind of one of those like, oh yeah, which one do you think is correct? And the few people that chimed in said that. I was like, well, there goes my entire lesson, because it's, even though I get it, but the right answer is the bottom one. Like,
Well, and I gotta tell you, I was gonna tell you that from the camera point of view, it looks like the top one's better.
see, but this is what I'm trying to explain
It's
to
funny.
people too. Is it's such a it's a very subjective world, like where printing and how
Yes, it
things
is.
look is really up to you. It's up to your customer. But the correct answer here is the bottom one. I did take this picture off the internet, so I know what it's supposed to look like. So the
Right.
bottom
Okay.
one is what it's supposed to look like. This was just
Okay.
going without going through the VPN. But you see,
Evelyn says she was in that class.
okay. Well, thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate that. So you saw this.
That's funny.
So another case of like what I was talking about, not only the VPN, but that you don't need a mask, because this is one solid piece. So basically, when this was cut out on the Easy Subly, it was cut out in a rectangle, and all I had to do was peel it off the backing, lay it onto the
Nice.
garment, and press it. Now, I have an example of where you would use a mask, and here is that. So this is just another example. All these garments I'm showing are 100% cotton. So as you can see, this design was made where it's a lot of different pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that picks up right. But
Yep.
you can see that it is multiple pieces, even though it looks like it's one giant rectangle. But this was cut in an interesting diagonal look. Yeah, it was very cool. This is done by our tech support guy, Bo. Shout out to him. He hooked me up with this. But this is an example.
That's really
where
cool.
you would never be able to take each one of these little pieces off and lay it down. So this is a prime example of when you would need to use a mask. And this is where it's also very important that you are using the correct mask. Because here,
yes, I've heard that that's an issue.
Yes.
I just want to get to some comments just for a second. Okay, so Lori says she was in that class too, and she can't wait till next year. So, and of course, Joe will be there.
Well,
he will be there. Just rest assured. If I got a hog time, he'll be there.
I had a blast last time.
Okay, and then Barb says Condi also has a profile for Spectra Fusion with Easy Subly.
They have a what?
They have a profile for Spectra Fusion with Easy Subly that they really get some great colors from. Absolutely. And then somebody else says it's like some like distressed, and some people do not, talking about the difference between the two pictures. And you're right. That's a lot of people, like their colors can be off, but they like it. It's like, okay.
I mean, believe me, I'm a very abstract kind of guy. I love that kind of artwork. My biggest thing at Caesar when I like to show stuff is go against the grain, like do something different, start the next trend, because everyone is like, it's got to look this way. I get it. Now, if you had a big account, and I'm going to totally huge name drop here and just say an account with like Coca-Cola, and you were like, well, I got to print stuff for Coca-Cola. Like Coca-Cola's got a specific red. Like you need to target that red. Now that is where it's very important to make sure that you're dialing in your print settings, you're dialing in this and that.
That's right. But that's exactly right.
For me, it's like, but if this is your artwork, or if you're, taking someone else's image and you want to make it a little bit more abstract or different or distorted, I mean, businesses capitalize these days. Think about it on your phone app. All these people that take selfies all day, and they can go through and have their own little mini Photoshop is an app on their phone, and they can tweak different things. And like, this is the world. This is the same world as like doing something that's
It's
different and one of a kind.
yeah.
Uh, and it's subjective. It's all subjective. So, yeah, that's what I always like to say. But just real quick, going on the mask, I do want to touch base on this. This is the Easy Sublim mask. This is why I just want to stress that if you need to use the mask, you do not have to use it all the time. Hence what I showed you with the Elvis photo. But if you had the other shirt I had, you need to use a mask. Now, this is the Easy Sublim mask. Now, if you're familiar with other heat transfer vinyl masks, those to work the best. The reason why is those are actually polyester acrylic based. And we all, with sublimators, we all know what happens when those two get put together. So what was happening is with those is it was drawing out the ink because the carrier sheet was actually pulling the ink out. We formulated this Easy Sublim mask with silicone. It's a silicone based mask. It may ghost a little bit, but it's not going to draw out the ink the way that other heat transfer vinyl mask is going to do. So this is why.
Does it cause ghosting or running of any type of the ink? Like
no. Well, you might get not ghosting on the image, but you might get a little bit of it that lifts off. And that's why a lot of people kind of ask that follow-up question, well, how many times can I use that mask? It's going to really all depend on the saturation of your ink, and then how much is left over residue-wise on the carrier.
But I got to tell you, if there's a lot of times you don't even realize that you have ink on. Like people ask me all the time about using parchment paper or butcher paper a second time. It might look okay, but I'm telling you, the chances are that there's going to be ink on there and you're going to ruin your substrate. So absolutely. I don't ever recommend using it a second time, ever.
No. That's why we always say to use parchment paper instead of like a Teflon cover sheet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Again, we're bridging our main world of just regular heat transfer vinyl into the sublimation world, and I get called out all the time because I don't really ever use cover sheets on my heat press. Which people will ask me, well, why don't you use a cover sheet? And I'm like, but I confidently know that I've never used an ink like sublimation on this press. If I knew that I've subjected that upper platen to any kind of vulnerable ink, I would never not use a cover sheet.
Right. Exactly.
There's so many times press something and all of a sudden I have a little shadow of what I pressed a couple days ago because it just basically brought that ink back to life.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why we try to say that's the importance of a cover sheet.
I just want everybody to know that we have to be really prompt. We can't go past 5 o'clock because he has a date.
Say no?
Well, I don't know that he called it a date, but he's got a date.
Date.
You didn't say
date. Thanks for boosting it a little bit.
Well, is it a date?
It's not a date.
Oh, it's not. Okay. Well, it should be a date.
It should be a date. It's this Wednesday, right? Let's break up.
Exactly. Exactly. Should be a date.
So that was kind of where I think we left a lot of that off. But here's where I kind of wanted to. And if you guys, anyone has questions, please feel free. And then Cheryl, you can cut me off. But this was first kind of what I want to show too. Back with, again, this is Easy Subli. All the shirts I'm showing you 100% cotton, and this is gonna be harder to tell, but these two images are exactly the same, but these were the two different ink sets, and it's gonna be harder to show in the screen, but it's the same image, two different ink sets. And I just want to show you, it is hard to
me. It looks like the one on the right looks better than the one on the left. So what's what?
The one on the right is one on the left.
Well, okay, on my like facing the camera, it's on my right.
The one on your right is right because that one was done with easy subli inks.
Okay.
And then the one on the left is a subli jet. But if you saw this in person, and again, if you saw these but didn't see them side by side, and you saw it up to the artwork that say your customer sent you or you made, you would not see the difference. But that's just showing you both ink sets, two different ink sets done on the Easy Subli, two different printers, obviously, but both Sawgrass, but one was Subli Jet, one was Easy Subli. Bad lighting, and it's a small camera. But this goes in now. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so here's a question. Is there any sample Easy Subli sheets with masks available? And I believe that Condi has some, and I think that Coastal has them. And they are both giving us a discount. So the Coastal has, they have that. The code is in the group. And Condi, you will need to call, and it's only good until tomorrow at the close of the business day, but you have to say Cheryl and Joe to get the discount. So, but they're putting something special together for this live for us, as is Coastal. So, and they're both they both carry it, and it's a great product. I think it's a game changer in our industry. I really do.
It really has been, and it really, despite the copious amounts of questions, it's been
what a great word, copious amount of questions. I love it. Or you could say plethora.
A plethora of questions. I mean, it's keeping me in business. That's all I.
Yeah, right.
My job is secure because I get to keep educating on this product. But even with it not being fully understood by a lot of people, and again, this is sublimators, and this is our market, which is mainly crafters or do-it-yourself people, or I like to say young entrepreneurs.
The vinyl world,
the vinyl world, really
bringing them together is 100%. So awesome.
Because a lot of people, they always look past our other side of the business, which was our print and cut heat transfer vinyl. And a lot of people, this has also kind of revitalized that side of it too, because people didn't know we had it. They just looked right past it. They saw Easy Weed, they saw glitter. They were like, oh, I'm having fun. And then they were like, well, what about these other print and cut products? The thing about those, we've had them forever. The problem with those is they also require a large format printer, essentially. So you're talking $10,000 to $15,000 piece of machine. So this was with Easy Subli. Not only was it to bridge sublimators like yourselves, but this was also to allow people to do print and cut heat transfer vinyl at a very inexpensive cost. Like everything I have here is like under the $1,500, $1,600 mark. And this is the SG800. You could get the SG400, and that's like a $550, $600 deal off a print and cut option. Now, this is also something that opens up, more opportunity and broadens your own business. But again, all day long, we have print and cut heat transfer vinyl that is thinner, softer, stretchable, blah, 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 all that other stuff. But it's also a larger investment. So
I have to say that I think that it's not about bringing vinyl to sublimators, but that it's bringing sublimators back to vinyl. True. Because most of us started out in vinyl, and we jumped ship. We didn't have to weed anymore. So it was like, oh my God, I'm so done, And so we jumped ship. And then, this is actually bringing us back. So Tony Lisnick wants to know, what is with these ginormous words?
Ginormous?
Yeah.
Ginormous. I like that one.
It's pretty
I mean,
funny.
I got to play the part. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, for
I use
sure.
big words, but yeah, no,
I, you know,
it is. You're
I
right.
appreciate ginormous words. It's
I got
pretty
to
funny.
break the monotony up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kids these
yeah,
days, they don't know how to read a book.
right.
But
Okay, so Evelyn says, so in your opinion, what makes a easy subly better than, let's say, OPEC transfers?
well, I'm not entirely familiar with the OPEC transfers. I do know that a lot of the other things that I guess would compete with the Easy Subly product and what its capacity is, like, and what its purpose is in the world. The key thing with us in with our products is mainly the longevity. I do know
Without
that
cracking and
without
without,
cracking, without
yeah,
the colors washing out, without, those kind of things like that, to
yeah,
us is the most important part. And that goes with all our other heat transfer vinyls. Is we want to make sure that if you are buying a premium product like this, that it's not something that, this thing we were just talking about, Cheryl. Like, everyone wants to go cheap. But the problem is if you have no value to it, it's obviously you get what you pay for it. But
right.
in this regard, with a product like this, where the capacity of what you can do with this, in our wash tests have outlasted the industry standard for like the lifetime of a garment. So to us, that
So
is the
you're easily looking at 50 washes and it still looks good.
yes, the like we did notice, and again, washing alone is a huge. It's 90% of our tech calls is when we narrow down to diagnosing something is due to how are you washing? What are you washing it in? Are you drying it? How high is your dryer? Are you
Right,
what
right, 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 right.
all things that go into it? But me personally, and this is the percent what this is why I always love to do this kind of stuff, because I put myself in the consumer's shoes. Like in our group at Caesar North America, I do a after hours show where I wear a robe and I'm in my basement. I call it robe sessions. And I do stuff as a consumer and I show people like I use this product too. So me as a
I'm the
regular
same way. I'm the same way.
I don't sugarcoat this stuff when I wash it. Like I wash it like a normal 31-year-old dude would wash his stuff. Like I just throw it all. I don't separate things, but I use regular detergent. I don't bleach. You don't use liquid fabric softener. If you don't, if you abide by what we recommend on the laundering side, you won't have a problem with the overall outcome.
Okay, so you said like a single 31-year-old would.
You go way too far into the other part of that whole meaning there. But yeah,
No, I'm kidding. Okay, we have a couple of questions here. Is this more durable and longer lasting than just using the regular print and cut vinyl with inkjet?
oh, by far, I have yet to see anything inkjet printed last more than 10 washes. I mean, that was also kind of another thing where a lot of people came to us at Caesar and said, well, why don't you have anything for inkjet? Again, our big thing is we want to make sure that if you are going to be using a Caesar product, that it's going to last. It's going to
Yeah.
be durable. Those are the important things. I mean, I'm sure our geniuses over in Italy could whip up something for inkjet, but we really haven't seen anything that has been tantalizing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's tough.
So, what is the difference between the vinyl that has adhesive on the back versus heat transfer vinyl?
Difference in what way?
How is it? How is it different? I don't. They were talking about it in the group, and I haven't done vinyl in years. So,
Come
what
on back.
is? I know, right? I know. I know. Well, Easy Subly it actually has kind of brought me back. But it's bringing me back because of the fact it doesn't have adhesive on the back. It's I guess heat activated, right?
Yes, and with the exception of our print and cut in Easy Subly. Now, Easy Sub, you are actually printing on the surface of the heat transfer vinyl. But if those are familiar with, let's say, our Easy Weed line or glitter and those kind of heat transfer vinyls that you don't print on, you just cut on with your vinyl cutter.
Right.
You're cutting in reverse. You're actually cutting on the adhesive side. So when you go to weed it and apply it, you're weeding and then you flip it over and there's your carrier. When you go to lay it onto your garment, that's why you cut it in reverse or mirrored your cut.
Okay.
When you go to lay it on your garment, now you're seeing it the way it's supposed to be seen.
Right, so right, okay.
Apply onto that. Now with adhesive vinyl, like, so we brought on a line 2 years ago called Easy PSV. That's our pressure sensitive vinyl. That's what PSV stands for. So Caesar, we have our line. It is just like the decal vinyl you're familiar with. You would cut your design like you would normally look at it, weed it, mask it, and then stick it on
and apply
like,
it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony's asking, describe the feel of Easy Subly versus standard transfer.
What transfer though? That's I guess I would need to know like what standard transfer.
Well, okay, so maybe just describe the feel of Easy Subly. You know, we talked about it the last time about like the feel of it, you know, because it has changed a lot since, again, I mean, it's not that real plastic feel to it that it used to be, but you did say it was, he said screen print transfer.
Well, screen print transfers are ink, right? So like the feel of an ink transfer is a little different. And then that transfer also depends on how many colors you have on it.
Right.
The more colors you have in a screen print transfer, the thicker it's going to be regardless. On the Easy Subly heat transfer vinyl alone, I'll just use ginormous technicalities here. So if you're familiar with our Easy Weed product, so again, our Easy Weed product is the flat, like the main colors, heat transfer vinyl that you cut and heat apply. Those are very, very thin. They're only 90 microns. So in comparison to what Easy Subly is, the technical thickness of it is 220 microns. So if you put that up to Easy Weed, it's you know, a little more than double the thickness of Easy Weed. So if you're not familiar with Easy Weed, go check that out. But it is a very thin product. You can definitely still feel it. I mean, I'm going to be forthright with everything, but it's going to be about how you decide to use it. Now, if you use one giant piece, like the Elvis image I used here, I mean, you're gonna feel it, right? I mean, it's one giant square or rectangle rather. Like you're gonna feel that. But if you had an image that was almost the same dimension size, but was broken up the way that this image is, where since it's all kind of cut up and broken and distorted, your garment can still kind of stretch in between it. It doesn't weigh down as heavy, but look at how many colors you can get on that. This is something you would never be able to achieve with the screen print that many colors, because if you did that, you're going to certainly feel something that has that many colors. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
That's where a lot
of you know, almost clumpy, you know, yeah.
And more inks that you have on a garment, like when you screen print, the more likely it's going to cause it to crack. So you're going to eventually see cracking. You're going to start seeing all that stuff. So again, this is where you care, like, what is the capacity of what you can do with Easy Subly versus a screen print transfer? What are the cost difference? What are those kind of things that are going to make your business better?
So Evelyn says from the class, the Easy Subli from the Sublimation Summit is softer and smoother. And I would agree with that because I was actually shocked when I first used it how soft it was.
Yeah.
Connie says she can't wait to try it. So yay.
Yeah. The intimidation factor is there, and I think a lot of people also, like, they didn't know what the purpose of it is. And again, the purpose is that now for those that have sublimation and deal with sublimation on the textile side, we haven't even gone into the other substrate stuff that you guys are all professional with, but textiles is our world. And
right.
We were hearing over and over again was that sublimators, what are you restricted to? White polyester, right? Like if you were go on a garment, you need white polyester. So I can't even tell you the amount of times that I'd be talking at a trade show with a customer and they were a sublimator and they were just like, I need something that isn't just white polyester. What can I sublimate on? Do you have a heat transfer vinyl that'll work?
Yeah.
So this is.
And at that point, there was really only glitter, right?
But that was a fluke thing, Cheryl. I'm telling you, it was a fluke thing that after one of those trade shows, I got into the office. That's the beautiful part about my job is I get to toy around with a bunch of stuff. And I ran through the gamut of our heat transfer model.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get to the application side of Easy Subli. But for those that do sublimation, you all know that 400 degrees for 60 seconds is typically. Now, our heat transfer vinyls, like our stuff, is low heat application. So you're talking 305 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. So when you're in 400 degrees for 60 seconds, you're talking about melting, like scorching, cracking, all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
So that was where I got to experiment, and I found like I just decided to compromise, and I went 365 degrees for 60 seconds. I ran through our entire gamut of heat transfer vinyls, and glitter was the only one that didn't melt. Glitter was the only one that didn't melt, and it also showed actually pretty awesome results. So that was when I was like, okay, we got to make a video on this. Made a video on it, and all of a sudden I got all the guys going, what doesn't glitter? I don't want glitter. I don't want shiny. It was like, okay, I can't win, man. Like, figure it out, you know?
Or yeah, but the women were ecstatic, you know. They were,
It was huge.
But you know, you didn't want to give the guy, you know, a black T-shirt with this, you know, glitter. You know,
I wore it. I mean,
you did?
For our following like year of trade shows, because that video basically went viral.
Yeah,
it was like everywhere we went, we had to showcase that. It was like, like this is what you can do now. But I talked to so many people after that, and like you said, it was a lot of women, but
you know,
a lot of guys.
Yeah, and you could get away with almost wearing anything. Earrings, it wouldn't matter.
The glitter does kind of push it, but I get out of my comfort zone. You know, I do it for the job. But
I love it for the job. Awesome because the regular OPEC heat transfer paper is 350 degrees up to 360. So, and this is what, 305 you said?
So I didn't even say it for the Easy Subli yet.
Oh, okay.
Now, for the Easy Subli, this is the other benefit of this product. Now, this is if you print it directly onto it. The setting would be, so if you had it in your printer, you printed your image directly onto it, and then heat applied it, your application setting on your heat press would be 311 degrees for 15 seconds. That's it. And it's applied.
Wow,
now,
nice.
Other people ask, and you may see it if you go and visit Condi, they show it a little bit differently. And again, it's going to still yield great results. Listen to the recommendations. You know, like David, he knows more about sublimation than I do. But like I know the product we make. So the other side of it, if you decided to do a two-step process, and what I mean by that is you're used to sublimation paper and then heat applying it onto a substrate. If you were to do that the same way, but do that on the Easy Subli, which you can do, like, so print your image out on your sublimation paper and then heat apply it onto the Easy Subli. If you did that process, that now changes it to being 385 degrees for 45 seconds. That is
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that it's no longer 311 for 15 seconds. That's only if you print directly onto the Easy Subli HDV.
Interesting. Okay, so Lone Star says Joe sprinkles glitter wherever he goes. Laugh at
that. Well, bless your heart.
Okay, so we have about 9 minutes before we are going to call it a day, because he's got a date of some sort. I'm not sure if it's a real date, but
I'm going to go with
something.
Thanks for making it sound better than it is, Cheryl.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm happy I could do that for you. So I just want to remind everyone that Condi, you know what? Let me just tell you, this was really strange, but I tried to post it in the groups and it would not populate for whatever reason, which I think is so weird. So it just gave a little link, but it wouldn't populate, to show that we were live. So hopefully later I'll be able to go in there and post it. But so Condi is giving a discount on this, and the code's going to be Joe and Cheryl. You have to call your Condi rep, tell them you watch this video and you would like, I think that they have samples that they will put together for you. And then, of course, Coastal, who, they are, I guess, our main distributor. They are also giving us a discount on it. So, and the discount code in the group. So just go and happy shopping, because it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
I love. Have you done your Christmas shopping yet?
I did. I knocked it out. I utilized the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday, and I think.
Did you do it online?
I did. I'm so 2019.
Yeah, me too.
I support small businesses. A lot of it was done local stuff, but I'm a stay-at-home and shop in the comfort of my house kind of thing.
A person after my own heart. I did the exact same thing. I knocked it out. I really knocked everything out. So my shopping's done, and I'm so happy. I'm just waiting for boxes to get dropped off.
That's it.
I had a whole huge stack yesterday. I was like, when I got home, I was like, wow, I love it.
That's kind of the beautiful part. My email was completely overloaded with your Amazon.com shipment hash. This number is about to arrive, or whatever it is. Like I had, and that's right. I did say hashtag. I didn't say what is the other one? Pound.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I always do that. Okay. So Evelyn says, does the Easy Subli come larger than 8.5 by 11?
So right now,
that's a great question, by the way, Evelyn.
It's a great question, because I'm gonna for myself, because we're really good at doing that. We're in the works right now, not yet, but right now we're in the works of actually getting it sheeted to 11 by 17 sizes. They're not available right now, but we're trying to get that ready ASAP, so that for those that have the SG800, it can utilize a little bit more. But that is, so right now it's not available at that dimension.
That's perfect.
That's
huge.
But for those, we do also have roll sizes. One roll size, which is 20 inch. So you can get a 20-inch size roll that will come in 5, 10, or 25 yards, I do believe. So if you have a larger sublimation printer, you can also get that in the 20-inch size roll, or what I always recommend, adamant about getting larger sizes is get a 20-inch size roll and sheet cut it and cut it down to the size that fits you best and do your own custom cuts for now. We're hoping that in the near future, yeah, that's always what I recommend to people because, you can custom cut it. And I mean, the rule of thumb is when you get those larger quantities, I know it's a heftier bill initially, but when you start breaking down like the cost per square foot or square yard, it's cheaper to get it at that. So
yeah, sure.
Sure. Especially if you're going to use it a lot. So
so any last minute tips that you want to share with the group?
My big follow-up, I just wanted to make sure that I came back and redeemed myself a little bit from the last video, and just to let the people know that if you are using Easy Subli inks or Easy Subli inks or SubliJet inks, you can use Easy Subli heat transfer vinyl. And real quickly on the other side, where like I'm not super professional here, but just like what I showed you with the one shirt that had both the inks, I wanted to show a substrate that was not heat transfer vinyl done with the two different ink sets. So I know, again, it's hard to pick up on the camera, but here is one.
But we can definitely see it. Yeah, for sure.
And here, same image, hopefully.
But yeah, okay, so the first one looked better than the second one. So what one is that one?
All right, so this one was SubliJet, and then this one was Easy Subli.
Yeah, okay. So the SubliJet definitely was better than the Easy Subli. At least from the camera, it looked like.
Yeah, like if you saw it in person, and I brought it to the Sublimation Summit, like you're not going to tell.
You should probably just bring it to the summit.
Yeah, right? Here's one that we did. Like Bo did this one with this cool. Was actually with the Easy Subli inks, so I don't have one to compare. But again, if you didn't have one to compare and you showed somebody this, and it was
that's cool. It's definitely cool for sure.
So this is the other side. This is the world you guys are all familiar with, where it's sublimating on other substrates. That, again, if you had the Easy Subli inks or you were looking to get the Easy Subli inks in the new printer, you can use it for other things outside of Easy Subli heat transfer.
Which is wonderful. Yeah, that's really great because there have been a lot of people who have bought that and I'm sure would be really bummed if they found out that's all they could do was the vinyl. Okay, so the comments are, wow, that's impressive that both of you are done with Christmas shopping. Evelyn says, thanks, Cheryl and Joe, for taking the time to share some awesome tips. Enjoy the rest of your day and his date. And then Caught by Design. I'm not even sure who you are, but thanks for all the good info. Tony says, have a good rendezvous, even if you don't have a ginormous date. You are so funny, Tony.
I mean, I appreciate all the comments. I really thank you for Cheryl for having me back on. Thank you for having me at the summit.
Oh, we're gonna do this again. Don't worry.
I definitely
people need to be educated. This is so important, and that's really what my group is about: is educating people. And there are still so many questions. So I think you covered a whole lot of ground, and that was really great. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. And that's what I do on my end. Kind of stuff is actually a breath of fresh air for me, because when we do videos, when I do live stuff here, I kind of just do it for myself. So I always like to get somebody else's input or the questions that come in. So I always try to tell people, do not be afraid to reach out to us for questions. Do not be afraid to ask the questions. And then Cheryl, like obviously, my background's in heat transfer vinyl. I know your group is all mainly sublimation, but with those kind of questions, I would love to hopefully broaden some other horizons in your group for people that may want to also bridge over to that world outside of just Easy Subli, because I feel like every time we see each other, it's only Easy Subli. Maybe we can start wiggling more, but
absolutely, I'm definitely game for that, without a doubt. Absolutely. Awesome. I just, you guys, go shop, get some Easy Subli I think it's an unbelievable game changer in our industry. And of course, if you want some regular vinyl, get that too. You know, some HTV. You know, make Joe happy.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, for those that have been like yourself, like you said, Cheryl, like you started in heat transfer vinyl, and you
Absolutely.
know, there were a lot of things that made you never want to come back, which it shows how much it's changed. I mean, I've been in this industry as much as people don't believe it, but for 13 years. So
I only use this
yeah,
on special
I have,
occasions for
wait,
special
wait, wait.
things.
I have a better one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take it if you'll send it to me.
I have a better
I'll
one
take
for you
it.
there. No,
Yeah,
this
well,
tool
next
is
time you
my
see me,
favorite.
make sure I get one.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um,
Yeah.
we'll try to do. We're trying to change people's lives. You know, change people's lives. Yeah, that's right. Change your mind again, and maybe let you kind of dip your toe back into this world and see. But this is where we started, was Easy Subly, and now you know, we're going to be teaching it probably for the next however many months ahead. So please feel free to keep asking the questions. We'll come back on and hang out with Cheryl
You know, we
and
have a
much more.
lot of people, literally. I'm telling you, I think I told you this, but we deleted like 7,500 people that were waiting to get into the group just because it was too ginormous
Enormous. Yeah.
to deal with, to, you know.
Right.
But anyway, for me, it's so many of them are coming from the vinyl world, or they're coming from embroidery. They're, you know, from all these different places. And to me, this is a viable solution for cotton that we cannot satisfy with sublimation. I mean, it
Right.
really is. And though, you know, we have the Oki and the eye color white toner printer, it's for a lot of people, they can't afford $7,000.
And
So
that's
this
kind
is,
of
yeah, this is a really, really big deal. Okay, so Natalie says, please tell me this video will be available. I forgot about the time change. Natalie, no, yeah, no problem. It's going to be on YouTube. It's also going to be on, hopefully I'm going to be able to post it in the group and people be able to see it. But
yeah.
anyway.
We'll always hashtag replay. You know, you can always go back and check it out later on. And if you have more questions, you can always chime out into the comments. I'm sure Cheryl gets to them later on, or you know, you can
Absolutely.
come and find me on Facebook, and if you have more questions on there, I can answer them there.
And he's in the
Um,
group. He's in the sublimation for
I
beginners
was
and
finally
beyond.
added into it. Hey.
Well, I'll have to tell you something later about that. But anyway, you'll understand after I tell you. But anyway, but it's anyway. We'll just
Yeah,
leave it at
yeah.
that. I want you guys to go shop, and again, you
Enjoy
guys know
it.
what the
Yeah.
code is for Coastal. I just don't want to publicly say it because this is going to be on YouTube. So anyway, you guys take care. It was great as always having you. And let's do it again for sure. Let's do this again. And of course, he will be at the Sublimation Summit 2020. Who, we're going to auction him off. I mean, please. That was so much fun.
It raised a lot of money. That's
and you
sure.
really had a good time, right?
It was a great time. I had
I
a
mean,
blast.
the next, for your auction.
For the
Right?
auction, yeah. That was something that was totally different, but it was all for a good cause. So that was really important.
Yeah,
So,
it really was. It all went to
the
Habitat for Humanity, and it was awesome. I don't remember how. It was definitely over 3,000 something when it was all said and done, because they were matching.
Yep,
so it was like $3,700 or something like that. It was awesome.
That was really, really cool. So
yeah, he's worth a boatload. Anyway, thank you again for your time. I don't want to keep you because I know you got someplace to be. But anyway, thank you. Have a great night. All right,
I'll
take
talk
care.
to you very soon.
Okay, bye.